This is CBJ in 30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. Find out more and open an account online at telhio.org. Now, here's your host, Bob McElligott.
If it doesn't feel like the playoffs to you right now, go to the doctor, to the urgent care, whatever you have to do, get yourself checked out because there is something wrong with you. This is the biggest game of the year for the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's probably the biggest game of the year for the Montreal Canadiens as well. And it's happening at Nationwide Arena tonight. Welcome to a game day edition of CBJ in 30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. I'm Bob McElligott. There's just an electricity in the air today. And it's there even though there are still games to be played in the regular season. But there is so much riding on this game tonight for both of these teams, you just can't help to be excited about what's going on and wonder what's going to happen. Which team is going to step up and grab the brass ring tonight? Because here are the facts. The Blue Jackets trail Montreal by 2 points for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. If the Blue Jackets win this game tonight, they tie Montreal, they hold the tiebreaker, they're in, Montreal's out. Now again, there are still games to be played, but you're putting yourself in more of a driver's seat because the Blue Jackets have a game in hand. And as I say all the time, those games are only good if you win them. But if you do, that puts you 2 points ahead. That has you where you want to be. If you win tonight, you continue to control your own destiny. If you lose tonight, all of a sudden you're looking for help. And it's very possible that there could be help on the horizon when you look at the Canadiens' schedule the rest of the way. But the fact of the matter is, who wants to rely on somebody else? Take care of your own business, get it done, maintain your own destiny, and go from there. And that has got to be the single focus of the Blue Jackets tonight. Just take care of it. Just do it yourself. Don't wait. Don't let other people factor in. Don't let other teams factor in as to what's going to happen to you, whether or not you're going to make the playoffs. Just do it yourself. If you want something done right, do it yourself. How many times have you heard that saying in your life? How many times have you used that saying in your life? And that's what the Blue Jackets have to do tonight. They just have to do it themselves. And they are certainly capable of it because it looks like, and hopefully looks are not deceiving, it looks like they are starting to round into form right here at the end, right when they need to, and just in the nick of time. But we will see. This game is not going to be easy tonight. There are so many factors in this game. The Montreal Canadiens, they do have the playoff spot right now. They do have one of the best goaltenders in the league in Carey Price. There is no question that this game is going to come down to who plays better in goal. Who makes more stops in goal? Who is able to rise to the occasion tonight? Will it be Carey Price? Will it be Sergei Bobrovsky? 2 previous times this year these teams have met. The Blue Jackets have lost both times. They lost at Nationwide Arena back in January. That one was a game controlled by Montreal. Then the Blue Jackets went into Montreal and were down 2-0. They fought their way back in the game and then gave up a third-period goal and lost the game. It has been tight. It has been back and forth. It's the goaltending that's going to make the difference, in my opinion, tonight. If the goaltending doesn't make the difference, it'll be a surprise. But these teams are they're so similar in so many ways. You've got the Montreal Canadiens, who coming into the season, I think people wrote them off or didn't think that they would be a legitimate playoff threat this year, felt there was so much more they had to do, that they hadn't rightened the ship enough. But they made some tweaks over the summer, and those tweaks have paid off for them. They traded Alex Galchenyuk to the Arizona Coyotes, and they got Max Domi in return. He's been very good for them. They traded Max Pacioretty to the Vegas Golden Knights, and they got Thomas Tatar, and he has been good for them. So they did make some adjustments. They did make some changes to add to what they already had. And here we are. Here we are right at the very end, And Montreal is right there. And the Blue Jackets are right on their heels, nipping at the heels and trying to take their spot and have a good chance of doing it tonight. And then both teams are also looking at the Carolina Hurricanes, who are right there as well. Carolina is playing against Washington tonight. They just lost to Washington 2 nights ago. So there's a chance to pick up ground there as everybody scrambles not to be the team to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. So much at stake and so fun. This is so fun. If you're not enjoying this, what is wrong with you? Because this is what it's all about. This is what it is supposed to be all about. This is the way you're supposed to feel at this time of the year. You want your team to be in it. You want your team to have a chance. You want to go beyond the regular season. You want to get into the tournament. You want to be one of the 16 teams that will have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Winning this game tonight would put you and your team in a much better position to do just that. So that's why it's funny. It doesn't come down to this one game. It's not a Game 7. It's not a win or go home. But it sure feels like it. It sure feels like it. And that's what makes it exciting. And I'm glad the Blue Jackets are playing this game at home because I think this is going to be great for the city tonight. I think it's going to be great for the Blue Jackets. I hope I'm not getting a misread. I have had so many days this year where I've felt like today's not the day. I don't get that feeling from the Blue Jackets right now. And I guess maybe I don't get that feeling not because they've gotten shutouts in the last 2 games, but because of how they've played in the last 2 games. They've gone back to being physical. They've gone back to delivering a forecheck. They've gone back to playing team defense. They've gone back to consistently blocking shots. And they've had great goaltending. All of that put together. I think they feel better about themselves. I feel better about them. Montreal's probably saying the same thing on the other side, to be honest with you. They're probably saying the exact same thing. They probably feel good about their game. But for the Blue Jackets, they're a team that hasn't felt really good about their game for a while. Let's just say it. Since the trade deadline, it has been a box of chocolates. They never know what they're going to get from day in and day out. All of a sudden, they've put together 2 solid efforts. They've had success. They've got something out of it. John Tortorella said for weeks, I just feel like this team needs to have something good happen to it. Well, now it has. And now we'll see how they embrace the good. Can they embrace the good? Will they embrace the good? Will they get the points that they need tonight? And by the way, they need them in regulation too. None of this overtime, shootout, 3-point game tonight. You've got 60 minutes. 60 minutes to get those 2 points, take them away from Montreal, and move on to Nashville on Saturday. That's the plan. That is the plan. Now, my grandmother always told me my whole life, don't make plans because they'll just get messed up. I am hoping these plans do not get messed up tonight. Well, as I was saying, the Blue Jackets finding themselves once again, if you will, putting the physical play alongside of the skill and getting the results to go along with it. That's just one of the things that earlier today I talked about with Blue Jackets head coach John Tortorella.
Torch, it looks like your team, in the last couple of games especially, has remembered that it takes hard work along with skill to get victories. I don't know how much you had in bringing that memory back to them, but how happy are you to see it?
Well, you know, I think we've worked hard. Other than where we lay an egg in Edmonton, I think we've worked hard for a number of weeks here. You don't get the results, you just keep banging away. I think the Islander game, I thought we checked very well. Still gave up too many odd man rushes for my taste, but I thought everybody contributed. I thought that was very important in that win.
Ryan Dzingel gets a goal in that game. Josh Anderson continues to buzz around. Matt Duchene looks like he's kind of right there. How big is that line becoming for you, especially when the top line has struggled? And I know they started to come back to life the other night. But that Duchene line, how big is that going to be for you down the stretch?
Yeah, you need to, when the games are so close and there's checking involved and teams matching up against top lines and stuff like that, you need to get some secondary scoring here. And they've been close for a while. It's nice to see them score. Zinger scored a couple. Dutchie's on the cusp, I think, of really breaking out as far as scoring goals, but has made some really good plays. And he's been a Andy's probably been our most consistent player for quite a while now. So they're going to be important as we go through this stretch.
How big can those goals by Panarin and Atkinson be for their confidence and to get them going once again? I know Cam's was an empty netter, but you've been here. You've seen him. You've seen him go for stretches when no goals, get an empty netter and take off.
Doesn't matter if it's an empty netter off your head or just a tic-tac-toe goal. Goal scorers want to score. They measure themselves by that, and I think they relax because of that. So hopefully that'll transform into a good start for us tonight against Montreal.
Before the Calgary game, I asked you if you could get Panarin back to that dog-on-a-bone mentality. It looks like he's back the last couple games.
Yeah, he's played hard. He's got that strong stick that we're so accustomed to. I think he's finding himself at the right time here, and hopefully that line continues to grow.
Throughout the year, you and I have talked about balance between your lines. Nick Foligno comes back the other night. You put him on the fourth line. Honestly, that's maybe a top line about 3 years ago in this league with Dubinsky and Riley Nash. Right now it is what it is, but it's also giving you some really responsible guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it allowed me to play four lines more, although I thought Hanny played really well in Vancouver when he was there. But, Nick can do a little bit more offensively. I think Riley Nash's game has really grown. Hasn't transformed into a lot of numbers, but he's been a very smart player for us. So I can use them. I used them a lot in faceoffs in our D zone the other night, where I don't have to put my offensive guys in there. I can use them in the offensive zone. So I felt more comfortable using four lines the other night, and I think we're going to need that as we play. And we have two more back-to-backs here, 6 games I think in 10 or 11 nights. So I'm going to need the whole lineup.
The other line, Wennberg, Bjorkstrand, Jenner, is kind of coming into its own. When you talk about, you just said about Nash not showing up in numbers, Wennberg might be the same way. Might not be totally showing up in numbers, but the little plays, like the one he made to knock down the clearing attempt and set up Bjorkstrand's third goal of the game the other night. How big are those plays?
Yeah, he's been much harder on the puck. He's been winning a lot more battles on the puck. Has made some really good plays. He should probably have a few more assists along the way. That we just haven't finished on some of them, but it's a good time to see him play with more confidence to add, because that can be a really good line when teams are trying to check you and you get more balance in your line. It really gives you a big advantage. So hopefully they'll keep on going.
Zach Werenski left the game with an injury the other night. Do you expect him to play tonight?
Should be okay.
All right. Montreal, the thing for them, two things. Carey Price, number one, always with Montreal, and their speed. You've lost to them 2 times this year. The last time in Montreal, you came back and tied the game at 2 and then gave up a third-period goal. Controlling the speed, what do you have to do?
Yeah, we've got to check like we did against the Islanders. I thought we were really good in the neutral zone, trying to neutralize some of their speed. This is a smaller, quicker team than the Islanders. They're tough to get to, and they're playing with a ton of confidence. So we got to make the right decisions with the puck in the neutral zone. If we don't have an offensive play, get it in deep, and just force them to come 200 feet. If they're going to come at all, they've got to come back from their end zone, not on turnovers in the neutral zone.
How do you make Carey Price move in the goal to give yourself better chances?
Yeah, Carey Price, there's no answer for Carey Price. The biggest thing for him is not so much movement and stuff like that, because then you start overthinking the offense. Is getting people around him, and hopefully he'll give up some rebounds.
Last time you played him here, I remember he was a problem in moving the puck like a third defenseman. You guys talked about keeping it away from him. You didn't do it that night. How do you keep it away from him tonight?
Yeah, it's a catch-22 there, because when players are a little bit too fine as far as trying to get the puck in and they're under pressure, sometimes they're just a little bit too deliberate as far as what they're trying to do, and it's turned over. So we got to be really smart with that. But he's a human breakout machine for them. It's hard to forecheck Montreal when Carey Price is playing the puck. So hopefully we can get some good dumps. I think the biggest thing we got to do is not go to Carey Price when he gets the puck, is go to his options and see if we can pick some off there.
Torch, thanks. Good luck.
Okay, Bobby.
It is such a difference maker when a goaltender can move the puck. If you have that on your team, you have just created another problem for the opposition. Really, you have. You heard what Torch just said. They can't attack Carey Price when he has the puck. They've got to go to his options. And I think what you tend to do at times, especially when you're an aggressive forechecking team, that puck goes behind the net, the goaltender gets it, and you think, man, if I can get in there and make him make a mistake, we are golden. We are going to be set up here. Force a turnover on the end boards, goaltender is stuck back there, I can get it to somebody out in front. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's a great thought, and it sounds great. But when you have a goaltender that can move the puck like Carey Price does, all it does is get you caught deep, and now there goes the other team up the ice, and you are hustling to get back into the play. They're going up the ice on an odd man rush, and you're hustling to get back into the play. So the mindset has got to be go to the wingers or go to the defenseman so that he can't get the puck to anybody. Make him handle it more. Make him make the decision. Because what you might find is if he makes the bad pass, then you just pick off the pass, and you're still going to get the opportunity that you were looking for. But if you collapse on him, let's say you get two guys around him, and he still makes the pass, and he gets it to the defense, and they get it to the forwards, now it is very easily two guys trapped back. You only have three guys left up the ice. So it's really important. It is such a weapon to have if you're a team. Sergei Bobrovsky plays the puck adequately. He does what he has to do with it. He doesn't try to do too much. He's not trying to stick handle behind the net or anything like that. He gets behind the net. He stops the pucks that are rimmed around the boards, tries to set him up for the defense, moves them around the first guy that is putting the pressure on, and gives his team a chance to get it out. Gets it on the glass when he has to. But again, his mobility in the way of playing the puck is minimal. That's not his forte. And he doesn't pretend that it is. Carey Price, it's different. And when I talk about there being weapons, why do you think that there is a trapezoid behind the net? Why do you think that came into play? Because of a guy like Martin Brodeur, who would just go out and play all the pucks. And he would get them to his teammates, and it would create problems for the other teams. And he could go anywhere and get that puck. And finally, the league said, yeah, you know what, maybe we'll just limit that area where the goaltender can go. Now, some goaltenders love that. Some goaltenders are so happy that there's that limited space because then their teammates won't be saying to them, well, why didn't you go out to the corner and get that puck and feed it up the wall? Because they know that's not their strength. It's not their forte. And they're like, well, I'm not allowed. I would love to come get that for you, but I'm not allowed. I've got to stay right here in this area. So some of them love it. The guys that can play it, the guys that can move it, and there's not that many of them. I mean, Carey Price is one. Mike Smith is one for the Calgary Flames. Those guys that can do it, it is an added weapon that you have to deal with. And the last time Montreal was here, the Blue Jackets didn't deal with it well at all. And he hurt them. He hurt them by playing the puck. They've got to take that out of the Montreal game tonight. They've got to take that out of their game tonight. You heard John Tortorella say that Zach Werenski will play tonight. Thank God. Seriously, could you imagine having to play this game without Zach Werenski tonight? That would be – I'm not saying it wouldn't be winnable. It would still be winnable, but, man, would the difficulty level go up, right? So it's good to see that Zach is going to be back in the lineup. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to catch up with him earlier today after the morning skate, and one of the things we talked about is team confidence. I've told you before, I'll tell you again. This team is a feel-good team. When things are not going their way, they can collapse in a hurry. But when they start to believe and they feel that things are going their way, well, then they can get good. And that's what I'm hoping is that they are on the precipice of that right now, of really getting good. But Zach Werenski agrees that team-wide, the confidence is up right now.
Yeah, for sure. These are huge games for us. Every game's so important this time of year, especially with the position we're in. I think guys were playing with a lot of confidence in the Vancouver game towards the end of it, and it just carried over into the last game. Started off kind of slow, but I thought this, second half of the first, second period, and third period, we played some good hockey, and just got to carry it over into tonight's game.
The speed of Montreal is kind of their trademark. Their goaltending and their speed. When they get their transition game going, by the time those forwards get to you guys, they're flying. What do you have to do to make sure that they can utilize that speed, get around you, get to the net, those kind of things?
Yeah, I think we have to have just good gaps as defensemen. I think we have to make smart decisions in the neutral zone. We have to make sure pucks get 200 feet if we're not making a play. When we turn pucks over at the blue line, that's what gives them a chance to be I guess that's what gives them a chance to transition. That's what they're best at. So for us, it's just being smart in the neutral zone. If we have a play, make it. But if we don't, just getting pucks behind their D and going and forechecking, because that's when we're at our best.
And how much better have you guys been at that, especially in the last two games? But your gaps, that makes a huge difference in whether you have success and you don't, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think when we have good gaps, we're shutting teams down early. We're not letting them play too much, and then we can transition into offense, which is when we're at our best also. Our forwards are so good with the puck, so whenever we can shut other teams down and get the puck in their hands, that's when we're playing our best hockey, so we have to do that tonight.
This could be one of those games tonight where, any game would help if you guys on the blue line can chip in with a little bit of scoring or set some things up, but especially against a guy like Carey Price, how much will you concentrate on getting the puck to the net tonight?
Yeah, we're going to have to find a way to get pucks in the blue and just bang away. He's one of the best goalies in the league. But there's always ways to beat goalies, whether it's traffic or rebounds or screens or whatnot. So we got to find a way from the point to get pucks in the blue, and our forwards have to find a way to get there.
It will certainly be a big help if the blue liners can get the puck to the front of the net. You've got to get rebounds. You've got to crash it. You've got to get second and third opportunities tonight. The Blue Jackets still haven't done enough of that. Against a goaltender of this caliber, you've got to do it. You've got to do it tonight. I don't think there's any question about that. Now, one of the guys that's really good at going to the front of the net is Boone Jenner. And the guys that he's playing with, Oliver Bjorkstrand and Alexander Wennberg, well, Wennberg is a playmaker and Bjorkstrand's a shooter. So if you can make a play, get a shot, and then maybe it'll be Jenner that's right there for the rebound. But throughout the year, it was the Jenner, Anderson, and Foligno line. That was the identity line that got the Blue Jackets going once again. And once it got split up, then there was that search to find where to put the pieces. Josh Anderson has found his spot with Duchesne and Dzingel, and I think that Wennberg and Bjorkstrand are finding their spot right now with Boone Jenner. And I talked with Alexander Wennberg about that after the skate this morning, and especially about what Boone brings for the other two guys.
No, that's good. I mean, obviously Boone and me both play center, so we kind of like switch off position with face-up and all, but he's a hard-working guy, and he gets pucks too. So for me and Bjork, I feel like it's a really good extra play to get in there. He makes a difference, and it's fun to play with him.
When you move over to the wing, what kind of an adjustment is that? I know the more responsibility is at center. Is there do you approach it differently, or what's the mental side of it for you?
Not really. I mean, I try to play the same way. Every now and then you end up playing wing, so it's nothing different. I'm not trying to overthink it. Be out there, play hockey, and there's nothing to think about more. It's just when you play wing, you just maybe be a little bit more aggressive, so that could be a benefit for sure.
And watching you just smile and talk about it, I mean, it's been kind of an up and down season for you. There was a point where you were out of the lineup and you weren't playing. Now you get back in, and how happy are you just to be contributing, getting better every game, and helping these guys and helping all of you to make sure that you're getting the points you need right now?
Oh, obviously you want to play, and I'm here to help out the team. So for me, it's fun to be out there for sure. And my game is just going to go out there and do the best of it every night. And you see if you play the next game or not. But I'm going to take every opportunity I get and make the best out of it.
You've got one of the best goaltenders in the league in this room. You're going up against another one of the best goaltenders in the league tonight, in Carey Price. What kind of things do you have to do to create scoring opportunities and make it tough on him?
Create chances, and I feel like he's so good on saving the first puck, so maybe you get a rebound or something. And it doesn't have to be pretty; you just got to find a way.
There they are again, those famous three words: find a way, and that's what the Blue Jackets have to do tonight. Well, if you're looking to find a way to make sure that you're doing the best thing that you can with your money when it comes to finding a place to invest and gain interest, or whether it's to have the best checking account with benefits, or whether it's to get some money through a personal loan, I can tell you this: the way that you find a way is by going to Ohio Credit Union. Yeah, because what they've done is put people over profit since 1934, and they're always making sure that their members are taken care of. Why should you become a member of Ohio Credit Union? That answer is lying right there on their website. They spell it out for you. They tell you the benefits. They tell you the services that they provide. They let you know why they are head and shoulders above everybody else. Just go online to tellhio.org. And while you're there, if you still need further answers to questions, just click on the live chat button and somebody will get with you immediately and you can ask those questions. You can also do it the old-fashioned way. As you're driving around town, you see a Ohio Credit Union office, stop by, go inside, and talk to a person one-on-one. Ohio Credit Union is open to everyone in central and southwestern Ohio, and they are federally insured by NCUA. Montreal comes into this game with 90 points. They hold the final playoff position in the Eastern Conference. They've got Carey Price. I've talked about that. The guys that are the forwards the Blue Jackets are going to have to deal with mostly tonight will be Brendan Gallagher. He leads them in goals with 33. You've got Max Domi. He leads them in points with 68. You've got Thomas Tatar, who has 25 goals on the year. 3 of those have come in the first 2 games against the Blue Jackets this year. So he has been dangerous. And when you go to their blue line, you've got Shea Weber back there who tees off with a heavy slap shot. You know, they're solid there. Jordy Ben had a good game in Montreal the last time these two teams played. They're a talented team, or they wouldn't be sitting where they are. I think the Blue Jackets are a better team, but they've got to prove it tonight for sure. Now, one guy that is not going to be in this game tonight because he's injured is Paul Byron. He did have a game against the Blue Jackets the last time the two teams played. Look, he is not an outstanding and a flashy player. He's got 30 points on the year, 15 goals, 15 assists. But I think he is important to them in the role that he plays. But he got injured in a fight against the Florida Panthers the other night, and he's not going to be in there. See if the Blue Jackets can maybe exploit that a little bit. He plays on their second line when he's healthy, so they're going to be without that little piece. Maybe the Blue Jackets can make it turn into a big piece tonight. Who knows? If they do, it will be by just playing their game. I'm talking about the Blue Jackets, playing their game the way that they have to play it, and just finish everything. Just finish. If you're not sure, like on your shift, if you're not sure if you finished everything, just take the extra second to make sure that you do. Because what the heck can it hurt, right? What the heck can it hurt? Make sure you finish throughout the course of the night. Finish everything that you're doing. That will be the main priority for the Blue Jackets tonight, without question. All right, tonight's game is going to be, of course, on the Blue Jackets radio network, and that includes the flagship station 97.1 The Fan in Columbus. Also, you can get it on your phone by using the Blue Jackets app or the TuneIn app. You can get it on your computer or laptop by going to BlueJackets.com. And if you're listening to Sirius XM Radio tonight, once again, we are going to be on the main Sirius XM NHL channel. That is channel 91. This is the feature game of the night. There's no question about it. This is the feature game. Carolina is at home against Washington tonight. That is one that we'll be watching. Other than that, there's nothing that has impact on the Blue Jackets. I can tell you Detroit's at Buffalo, Florida's in Ottawa, the Islanders are in Winnipeg, Dallas is at Edmonton, the Kings are in Vancouver, and Chicago is at San Jose, and I don't care about any of that. I just care about the top 2 games, this one and the one in Carolina between the Hurricanes and the Capitals, but this one is the focus tonight. This is the game of the night in the National Hockey League. It's at Nationwide Arena. It starts at 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage on the radio network starts at 6:45. I hope that by that time you are already in your seat and ready to go. If you don't have a ticket yet, get it right now by going to BlueJackets.com. That's going to do it for today's Game Day edition of CBJ and 30 presented by Tel Ohio Credit Union. Until tonight, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long.